Let's take care of this exercise to conclude this section called as managing tables using basic DDL and DML. We have covered quite a lot of concepts related to basic DDL and DML. This will be a quick recap of all those concepts. Unless and until you understand those concepts, you will not be able to complete this exercise. Ideally, you should be completing within 30 minutes, but even if it takes 40-45 minutes, as long as there are no confusions while solving this problem, you are good to go. That being said, make sure you validate and confirm that the solution is as per the expectations. This will also give you a practice about giving these solutions for Spark related questions with respect to CCA 175 certification. That being said, the location for the data is nothing but /data /NYSE underscore all /NYSE underscore data. This is local path, and hence we can actually go to the terminal and then copy this path data NYSE underscore all NYSE underscore data, and then we can say ls-ltr and hit enter. Now you can see the files here. The overall size of these files is approximately 133 megabytes because these files are compressed. If you uncompress them, the size of these files might be much higher. That being said, as we understood how to access these files, if you are taking this course through Udemy and if you don't have access to the labs, I will provide some data sets, if not all, out of these 20 odd files, and then you should be able to complete this exercise. That being said, you have to create a database with this name. You have to use your OS username. If it is itversity, you can use itversity underscore NYSE. If it is something like Scott Tiger, you can use Scott Tiger underscore NYSE. That being said, the table name should be NYSE underscore EOD. You have to use text file format, which is default. However, to understand the structure of the data in the files, you have to review the data. For that, you have to run some Linux commands and then you have to review the data. As the data is compressed, you can copy one of the files into your local file system's home directory. So in this case, you can say cp data NYSE underscore all NYSE underscore data / one of the files into the current directory of this user itversity, or you can also say /home $user. This will also take care of copying the file into the home directory of the user who logged in the local file system. Now once you copy that, you should be able to review that the file is copied. Now you can unzip it. I will let you figure out how to unzip this file. Once you unzip it, you can open the file and you can actually see the structure of the data. The data contains 7 fields. There is no header in each of these files, and hence I am giving the names of the fields here. So the 7 field names are nothing but stock ticker, trade date, open price, high price, low price, close price, volume. You have to determine the data types by yourself. When it comes to volume, it might be a bit confusing. That's why I'm giving you additional hint. You can use big int for volume. If you use int for some of the records, it might not work. It is very important for you to determine correct data types for all the other fields, and then you can actually create the manage table with the default delimiter. As the delimiters used in the data and the table are not same, you need to figure out how to get data into the target table. Once you get the approach, you need to make sure the data is copied into the target table as per the structure defined, and you should validate. You can run these commands to validate. First, you can run describe formatted command to see the metadata related to the file. Here I am running this command, and if I go to the details, when it comes to the storage properties, it is saying field delimiter as comma, which is not correct because I am asking you to create the table with the default delimiter, and hence this is not right. But when it comes to file format, it is showing as text input format and hive ignore key text output format for input format and output format. This part is correct, but because of this part is showing as comma, or my solution which I have came up with to get data into this table is not right. On top of these things, you can also run these queries to validate the data. So as part of the validation process, you should not only focus on the metadata, you also should be focusing on the data and make sure that the output is as expected. Now if I run this select star from query on this table to preview 10 records, I should be able to see the results as normal. You should not be seeing any anomalies when it comes to the output here. So let's wait until this query comes back with results. Yeah, now the results are back. If you look at stock ticker, it is expected. All the stock tickers are containing the shorthand names of the stocks such as AAP, etc. When it comes to trade date, it is not normal. Instead of showing date, it is actually showing some decimal value. We have to review where it went wrong. And when it comes to open price, high price, low price, close price, everything seems to be normal. When it comes to volume, as of now, for the date for which it is showing, it has zeros, and hence it seems to be right. Except for date, everything else seems to be right. You just have to first validate whether the column names with data types are specified correctly or not. For that, you can scroll up to go to the output of our display formatted command, and you can see that trade date is defined as float, which means my create table command have the issues with respect to defining the data types. On top of delimiter, I also made a mistake with respect to trade date, and hence I have to fix it, and then I have to load the data, and then I have to take it further. You can also run this count to validate, and if you are using the entire dataset which I am providing here, then the count should match with whatever I have here. It will come back in a moment. It will take some time because it has quite a lot of data. Even though it is only showing as 133 MB, the actual data is in GBs, and hence it will take a bit of time. Now you can see that it have 9,384,739 records in the table. As long as the count matches, you see the data normally, and also the metadata looks as expected as per the problem statement defined. You can actually consider that your solution is right, and you can actually move forward to the next section. If something is going wrong here, you need to ensure that the problem is solved with right approach, and then only you should go further, so that you can say that I am done with managing tables basic DDL and DML. If you don't want to spend too much of time on this, you can move on and you can come back to this exercise at a later point in time.